Hey friends, this is the astrological interpretation of the midlife crisis part 3. I've been postponing this a little bit because this topic is very dear to me, but it's also very difficult to describe, and I think the best way to illustrate this is to share the myth of Hades and Persephone. As you maybe know, the Greek mythology and the Roman mythology have a lot of coherence, and this myth illustrates really beautifully the depth of this transit. The transit I'm talking about is Pluto in transit squaring Pluto in the birth chart. I'm gonna comment stuff about the calculations in the comments, so you can look at that or consult that. About the myth. So at some point, the goddess of harvest, Demeter, was living in the heavens above with her beloved daughter Coren. Coren was ready to get married, but Demeter was really protective over her daughter and she really didn't want to let her go. Now at some point, Coren was picking flowers in the field. So that's flowers that represent the phallus and the vulva. In Dutch, they're krokussen and narcissen. I'll put in the description what the English name is. So it is a very symbolic gesture that she's doing there. At that point, the earth cracked open and Hades, or Pluto in our case, pulled her away from the heavens into the demon world. He made love to her, he married her, he also fed her 7 seeds of the pomegranate. Now, in many folklore and tradition, pomegranate stands for fertility. Again, very symbolic. Now, Demeter was, of course, devastated. She lost her daughter. So all the crops died. She couldn't work anymore. She completely abandoned her task as goddess of the harvest. So the god world was completely in chaos. Now, they consulted Zeus, whom we also know as Jupiter. Jupiter sent Mercury, or Hermes, to the netherworlds to find Coren. When he reached the netherworlds, he found that Coren has completely changed her being. You can imagine that when you eat something from the netherworlds, especially in that time, you were never really able to be free from it anymore because your whole constitution changed because you consumed some nourishment from something from the netherworlds. So she also changed her name to the goddess of the demon world, Persephone. Now, of course, this wasn't acceptable to Zeus because the gods needed to eat and the harmony needed to be restored. So fast forward, at the end, they agreed that Coren could live 2 parts of the year in the heavens above with her mother, helping her with crops. And that's why we have springtime and summertime. And then the other 2 parts of the year, she would descend to the netherworlds with Hades or Pluto and become Persephone, the goddess of the netherworlds, and be the courtess of Hades. And that's why we have autumn and winter time. All right. You can imagine that when you are able to undergo such life-changing transformation, and you are able to give with the flow of life, things, despite all your cooperation, can even be very penetrating and like overwhelming, completely overwhelming. Even more so when you resent change, when you're clinging to what you know that may not serve the purpose of your life anymore, or is not in line with your authentic self, and therefore ready to let go of. if you're clinging to that, things can become pretty intense up until shocking and, yeah, for some people traumatic even. So adding this to the prior sharings of the midlife crisis, you can imagine that this is a deep, deep, deep transformational time for many of us. Some people go with the flow and they can accept life as it comes better. Others are a little bit scared to be vulnerable in change, or, you know, clinging to life as they know. And then, you know, archetypal forces tend to give you a pinch in the right direction. And that's, for some cases, softly put. I hope you enjoyed this sharing. Please comment below if you need anything, or if you want to converse about this more. Reach out to me, and yeah, thanks for watching. I'll see you later.